Hey, shalom, shalom. First off, I'd like to say, Call Halal, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. Also would like to say peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect, the Akim that's pushing his word in all sincerity and faith throughout the four corners of the earth. For the Akwaf, the sisters who watch and believe, shalom to you as well. Shalom to the new fruit, the new believers, the new viewers coming into this thing for the first time. Just back with another lesson. And Esau, Edom, the wicked that's been given control of the earth at this appointed time, like it says in Job 9:24. He's coming with all manner of kitchen sink tactics, rather, basically trying to fulfill his new enterprise. I'll just say it that way, the NWO. All right. Ultimately, by making it mandatory for everyone to receive the charagma spoken of in Revelation 13:16, which if you don't accept that charagma, you won't have the ability to buy or sell. All right. Because Esau is basically switching his whole system. It's a reset in his system. All right. And by all means, he is determined to fulfill his enterprise. But thankfully for the elect of the nation of Israel, the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, in the name of his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, who the world eagerly calls Jesus Christ, is going to intervene on those plans. And we're seeing it all play out. Because recently, over the past few days, or probably almost going on a week ago now, the U.S. military pretty much did an invasion on Venezuela. And they've captured the Venezuelan president, Maduro. All right. And now President Trump was saying, pretty much without saying it in those terms, that they're going to establish an occupation in Venezuela to try to so-called make some money for the country. Right. Which we know that the whole mode of operandi is really just for them to go in, send their oil companies out there to refine, that crude oil that they have and extract, any of the mineral resources over in Venezuela. OK, just like they did with most of the countries that you can throw a dart on a map throughout the whole earth. All right. And it's no difference in Venezuela, man. They're going to establish an occupation. All right. And they're going to pretty much run the country. Now, they may set up, another leader of Venezuela, but it's going to be a leader that basically bends the knee to the American agenda. All right. So this is Esau's historical MO. All right. Always invading other people's territory. And then he'll just have an occupation there to basically hoard and establish control over that nation's natural resources. All right. Just so he can have control over everything. All right. Because he's basically trying to dominate the whole oil and natural gas trade. We know that Venezuela has a lot of, crude oil. I know it's like low quality crude oil. It's going to take a lot of resources to refine it, but the profits are going to be exponential, once they complete the refining process. All right. And of course, we know that the UAE, the United Emirates, they're a very large oil producing country as well. But pretty much the U.S. is trying to neutralize them. All right. To maintain control and leverage. All right. To be a dominant hegemony throughout the planet Earth. But before I ramble too much, I'm going to just get some scriptures, Lord willing, through the Spirit. This will edify. Oldie but a goodie. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 4. It says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. And we know that the soul which is in Esau, Edom, the wicked, according to the Bible, the powers to be that have power over the earth at this appointed time, their soul is not upright, man. All right. The scriptures talk about, I think it's somewhere in Proverbs, if I'm not mistaken, the wicked, they can't even go to sleep except they cause something to fall. I'm loosely paraphrasing. All right. And it tells you in Micah 2 that they like to go. Matter of fact, I'm going to grab that because I don't want to misquote Micah 2 because it kind of backs up what I'm reading. And Habakkuk, the second chapter. This is Micah chapter 2. I'll just start at verse 1. It says, woe to them. And woe is an old Quaker English word that means destruction. So it says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. And right now, like it says in Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. All right. They have control of the earth, and it's in the power of their hand to practice all manner of evil. All right. To establish their wicked agendas throughout the planet earth. Here's the point I wanted to get in verse 2. It says, and they covet fields and take them by violence. And that's what they're doing in Venezuela. That's what they've done throughout the planet Earth, to all different regions throughout the earth. All right. Coveting fields and taking them by violence, meaning invading other countries and territories by means of violence through the military. All right. And then basically taking over that country or territory's natural resources. All right. And setting up their own laws and agendas. It says, and they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away, so that they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. All right. And we know that Esau's wine has been spread throughout the four corners of the earth. When you read in Revelation, the 18th chapter, when it talks about that wine, even when you read in Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, that wine is talking about Esau Edom's philosophies. All right. Democracy. All right. So on and so forth. All of these different pseudoscientists. All right. But just going back to Habakkuk, Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 5. Yeah, verse 5, it says, yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine. So there's that wine I was talking about. It says, yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine. So that wine, it represents philosophies. All right. Yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, because his philosophies have run rampant throughout the planet Earth. All right. That's why you have McDonald's in these other foreign countries, man. All right. That's why English is the universal language of aviation. I don't even believe you can legally be a pilot if you don't speak and read English. All right. That's why the petrodollar is the main currency that you have to use to be able to trade for oil. All right. And that has made Esau a proud man. The fact that his philosophies, his way of conducting business has been spread and accepted throughout the four corners of the earth by all of these different nations. It says, neither keepeth at home, meaning he always has to have an occupation in other people's lands and territories. It says, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell and as his death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. And that's what he does, man. All right. He's insatiable. Esau, Edom, they just can't have enough. The elites that control this society as we know it, you know, they have more than heart's desire, but they always want other people's resources. They just always want more and more. All right. And not even just the having control over all of the natural resources, but they actually want people. All right. They want to gather all nations. They want control of the people. And that's why ultimately they're going to make it mandatory to accept that charagma spoken of in Revelation 13 and 16, because that's going to be the ultimate control mechanism. All right. Where they can track everything. All right. So this is the diabolical nature of the wicked, the nation of Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed nation of white people today. All right. That the Most High set up in power for a short amount of time, but that time is almost up, man. All right. And we can see that these prophecies are coming to pass, man. Matter of fact, before I read what I was going to read, because all of these other nations, man, they're starting to wake up. They're really trying to find ways to do backdoor deals around Esau, Edom. That's why you have the BRICS nation. I believe like Brazil, Russia, India, China, and I believe, is it South Africa, if I'm not mistaken. I got to look up the BRICS nations if I'm breaking that down wrong. But these other nations are basically trying to find a way to go around the petrodollar to trade for their oil. All right. So really, truly, the only American ally is Israel right now. All right. Of course, they have other allies within, NATO and the EU, but that thing is pretty divided at this appointed time, man. All right. Those certain diplomatic ties and relationships, they're diminishing. All right. So that shows that we're at the beginning of the end of their hegemon power structure. Matter of fact, I'm gonna jump down. This is Habakkuk 2 and 16. It says, "Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered." So Esau, Edom, they're being exposed. All of that propaganda, all of that deception that they used through the media to run enchantments and basically deceive the simple is no longer working anymore. All right, because through the internet, man, like the scriptures talk about in Daniel 12, knowledge shall increase. All right, so you can't just easily deceive people anymore. All of their wickedness, everything, their true motives is being exposed. All right. It says, "And let thy foreskin be uncovered," meaning they're being exposed. "The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee." And that right hand, that cup rather of the Lord's right hand is talking about hell, slavery ultimately, man. Because these elites that are currently in power, they're going to be the first fruits of slavery in the kingdom of heaven that's going to play out on the earth, with the Israelites that are going to be in power in a righteous kingdom. It says, "The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory." And that's what's happening right now. There's a shameful spewing on the glory of the wicked. Their glory is being diminished. Their light is being put out. All right. And it all starts with this truth going out. This truth of the Bible and the prophecies is tearing down a major stronghold of deception that has encapsulated the world for so long, man. So Esau, Edom, their run is almost up, man. All right. And that's why they're moving so fast. All right. Like it says in Job, the 14th chapter, the Most High had appointed his bounds that he can't pass. So Esau, Edom, they're running on borrowed time. All right. There's only a certain level that they're going to be able to reach before the Most High intervenes. Matter of fact, I'm going to read this right here. Job chapter 20, verse 4 says, "Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite before a moment." All right. So the triumphing of the wicked is short, man. Really, they've only had a short run as far as the inception of America. I think this year they're supposed to celebrate what is it called? The quinticentennial or something like that. The 250th anniversary of the inception of America. So that's not a long time, man. All right. In the grand scheme of things. So the joy of the hypocrite is only going to be for a moment, man. This thing is almost over. The run that they've had in the earth is almost up. All right. Matter of fact, I'm going to jump down. I'm going to just kind of jump down and get a few things. Job 20 and 22, it says, "In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him." So, right when they're about to reach the apex of their new world enterprise, the Most High is going to intervene, man. All of these other nations, man, they're going to come up against America, Babylon the Great, prophetically in war. There's going to be a third world war. And historically, all of the wars, most of the wars that America's has fought against other countries have been abroad. But finally, the virgin daughter of Babylon is going to be touched, man. It says, "When he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating." All right. So right when they think they're going to fill their belly, the Most High is going to intervene, man. Verse 24, it says, "He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike them through. And that iron weapon is talking about those ICBM missiles, those intercontinental ballistic missiles that are going to be shot off by all of these other nations, man, starting with Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, so on and so forth. All right. It says, it is drawn and cometh out of the body, yet the glistering sword cometh out of his gall, terrors are upon him. It says, all darkness shall be hid in his secret places. A fire not blown shall consume him. It shall go ill with him that is left in his tabernacle. And that fire not blown is talking about that thermonuclear destruction, that thermonuclear fire. All right. That's how Babylon the Great, America, is going to be destroyed. All right. And we're almost in that time. The stage is being set up. All of these different invasions in these different countries, man, where America can just flex his muscles, man. But we're in a time where all of these other nations, they're going to gang up against the bully. All right. And they're going to shoot their missiles because those thermonuclear missiles, that's the game changer. All right. That levels the playing field. Now, of course, America probably has more missiles than all of these other nations, man. But you don't really need a lot of those. All right. Because of the devastating power that they possess. All right. So we're in that time, man. All right. We're coming full fledged. We're headed into World War III. All right. And World War III, man, it's going to be fought over here this time. It's going to be missiles shot over here in the virgin daughter of Babylon, America. All right. And America is known as the virgin daughter of Babylon because it hasn't been touched by any major conflict. The only conflict that happened on the soils of America is when the America was divided, when you had the Union versus the Confederacy. All right. In the Civil War. All right. But it's not, other than that, it ain't really been no major conflict by any foreign nations on American soil. All right. But what else did I want to get? I'll read a little bit of this. This is Obadiah, verse 1, because it's only one chapter in Obadiah. It says, the vision of Obadiah, thus said the Lord, power concerning Edom. So it says, thus said the Lord, power concerning Edom. All right. So it's concerning you Edomites, you red Hebrew Edomites. It says, we have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise against her in battle. So these heathens are about to rise up against America in battle. It says, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. All right. And when you go into that word small, it basically means insignificant. All right. So all of these other heathen nations, man, they no longer look at America as that beacon of light. All right. They're seeing her for who she truly is. All right. That whore that's being exposed, man. So these other heathen nations, they greatly despise America. The only reason that they are in cahoots for the most part is to make profit. Those foreigners, you know, from these other countries that come over here, they'll come over here, set up shops, set up businesses, and then they'll get enough profits and then they'll skate off back to their own country. We're going to see that more and more, too. Like it says in Jeremiah, the 51st chapter, you know, everyone's going to go back into their own land, meaning these other heathen nations that came over here to America, you know. So that's the point being made, man. They're greatly despised among the heathen, man. People are tired of America's military invading their country, having an occupation over there, taking all of their natural resources, man. So we're in a time where these nations, man, they're fed up. They're gonna strike back. All right. And that's ultimately through the spirit why Esau, Edom, the powers to be, they're trying to move so fast. All right. Because they know these prophecies, too. I'm talking about the elites that really control this society. You know, not the president, Donald J. Trump, because we know that America, you know, it's a fascist system. It's pretty much likened into a corporation. Like you have a president of a company, but that's not the owner of the company. Those that you don't see, those are the ones that truly have the power. All right. And they understand the scriptures. They understand the prophecies coming to pass. But through their pride, they're going to still try to fulfill their agenda. And that's why they're moving in haste. But this is Revelation 12. And I'll just go right to the point. Revelation 12:12, it says, therefore, rejoice ye heavens and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And that's why the devil's coming down on the earth as we know it, having great wrath, man. Okay. That's why Esau Edom, he's going to go on a more he's going to just go on a campaign of invading right now, because even Donald J. Trump, he was talking about going into Colombia. I think he mentioned something about Cuba. All right. So now he's shifted his focus, so-called, to try to stop the narco terrorists, what they call them. All right. These leaders of these other nations like Colombia, you know, who have basically perpetuated the drug trade. But we understand that's just an excuse that they want to use just to invade and occupy the land to extract any type of natural resources that's in Colombia, for example. All right. And ultimately, it's because Esau Edom, they know they have a short time. Their run is almost up. All right. And after the destruction of Babylon the Great America, all right, that's when the salvation of the elect is going to take place. And then the kingdom of heaven is going to be established upon earth, where the Israelites are going to be in power. All right. And it's going to be a righteous kingdom. And all of the other heathen nations, they're going to be in subjection to the nation of Israel. And the elites, those that control this society, they're going to be the first fruits of slavery, because we know that they have the means to have, you know, underground bunkers and stuff to escape the thermonuclear destruction. But the Lord's going to put the spirit on his men to seek them out, man. So with all being said, you know, I just want to say a few words on, you know, current events that's going on today with all of this invading that the American military is doing. Because Esau Edom, they know they have a short run, man. They know that they're on expiring time. So the Lord isn't going to intervene. The Lord is going to lift up a standard, you know, right in the midst of Esau Edom, especially when he tries to put his hand to persecute the servants of the Lord. All right. So with all being said, Lord willing to certify, brothers and sisters, hold fast to the faithful word until Yahweh Shah comes to deliver us. So with all being said, I want to say, Call Allah, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom, peace and blessings to the elect.